we could talk.
We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for your voice in my headset podcast about friendships. And we're in the backstage area today. And so we're doing, the book is being worked on, and that's really cool. So we're working on that in there. And the two authors have been sick this week, but still productive. Nora, you had an idea?
Oh, I was just thinking, we could talk about maybe like, I don't know, would you call it like boundaries or like if you have like, I don't know, like let's say you would have four level four friends. So what if it's like, what if your level four friends don't all know each other? Like how do you, or even if they do, I guess, like how do you um consider them all in like the decisions that you're making, or how does that like look?
Right, right,
And we should come up with like the sub levels of the level four.
right. We need to do that. We need to go ahead and like in book, in the book, like I don't know if it's grabbing people the way that we want it to. I'm not sure. So it seems like the feedback that we're getting is that people have to think. Like there's a lot of thought. I haven't really read it because there's so much thinking. Copy that. So, and then also get, people to register. Like it's, I don't know. See, this is the one that's trying to get people to, be updated on it. Um, so there needs to be like, so again, this is the backstage pass, so anybody can speak at any time. Like going back to Nora, like, I mean, if you had 132 level four friends, like, I'm just saying, if you had 132 level four friends, like,
That is that all? Is that all the level four that you want?
no, I'm just saying, just as an example, I don't want somebody to be like, that's unrealistic. So if you had 134 level four friends, I can see how they might not all know each other. But if you got, I don't know, three, like, how can your level four friends not know each other?
Are you saying because you would introduce them to each other?
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like your life vision. It's like we have one life to live, and we get to choose. We get free will. We get to choose how we live that life. And so, um, because it's a backstage pass, nobody's gonna go ahead and listen to this. I'm sure. So, so like Rosanna, like I thought you asked a really good question. Like, what's the difference between, you know, what's? I thought you asked a really good question. But I don't know, should I say that or should I just say, well, a friend of mine had this? I mean, I can do that too. So what do you think, Rosanna? Because I thought it was a great question. I thought it was a sincere question. And I thought that my response and how fast it was, that was also, I think, really interesting too. No?
I guess I'm good either way.
Okay. So Rosanna asked, um, like, so there's some concern about how connected Nora and I are. And I understand that. like, it's pretty interesting when your visions connect. It's your whole life vision. It's like the connection that you have is insane. It just is. And so I don't believe that my life vision is dependent upon Nora, or Nora's life vision is dependent upon mine. Um, but I think that it feels like they're so interconnected. They wouldn't like it. I don't know. It's like there's this mystery out there that so anyways, so especially a couple of my daughters, they're real concerned. And it's fine. I appreciate that. On the connection that Nora and I have. And so Rosanna asked, um, she says, what's the difference between my relationship with Tim, our 25-year-old son? So, what's the difference between her relationship with Tim and my relationship with Nora? And Nora and I have fun individually, like just her and I hanging out. And so we do some of that. Like, so there's just sometimes just she and I hang out and, we play pickleball or we'll go kayaking or, you know, like we went out to eat. It wasn't just her and I for her breakfast or for her birthday. It was a really cool place. And it was Lincoln and, her son, her 3-year-old son and I. And, so there's things that, she and I do just together, but there's a lot more that we do with other people. And I think that's the focus. It's not it's not just about her. It's not just about me. It's not just about her and I's friendship. It's about something much, 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 much bigger than that. And so Nora was saying something about this week about how she didn't know how many level 4 friends that she would want to have. And I asked her why. And she said, because of the time and energy that goes into them. Lane is shaking her head up and down. And so now this is fascinating to me. Nora's smiling now. Like, I think I'm missing something. There might be an inside joke here. So, so I'm thinking that there is no question that I invest a lot of time into people. I mean, Jim Bontrager, he said, I know why you don't mind losing people, losing friends. Like they're just gone and really deep, like they're gone. Like, I know why you don't mind it. And I'm like, okay, I'll bite. Why? And he's like, because you pour so much into people, Mark, that when somebody opts out, taps out, says, yep, nope, no longer going to do that. You're like, okay. And you can take that same time and literally invest it into 4 other people. Like you are all in, with people. You just are. And so for me, it might be the 3-for-1 principle Or maybe I'm so intentional that I don't feel that I'm putting a lot of time. I know I'm putting a lot of time in, but I feel that I'm getting more out than what I'm putting in. And so as long as that happens, um, I can have as many level four friends as
Hey Mark, how many level 4 friends would you have said you had in your 30s?
how many did I think I had?
Yeah.
Well, based on the clarity that I had now, like all of my closest friends, I wouldn't say they're level four friends. I would say all of my closest friends, have stabbed me in the back significantly. Many of them are just gone. I'm fine with hanging around them. They're invited over my house. They can hang out. But my level four friends, my closest friends, they no longer want anything to do with me from my 30s and 40s and 50s. So our 25-year-old son, 25, 26-year-old son, Ben, he's kind of a corn dog. He's a funny guy. So Nora knows him. And, he came over this week and he was talking about Nora and I and our friendship and stuff like that. And he was really good about it, asking questions and stuff. And he's like, it seemed like he was mostly concerned for Nora. It's like, Dad, you don't have a good history. Now, I don't look at it like that. I don't I don't look at it like that. I look at it as I've been wondering for decades why people come and go. Like I don't understand why people go. But I do wonder if it's because one person's growing and the other person's not. And there's things that in marriage that hold us together if one's growing and the other's not. There's things that hold us together in families if one's growing and others are not. There's things that can hold us together in business where one's growing and the other one's not. But I think if one's growing, it's like crabs in a bucket. I think it's hard to be around somebody who's growing faster than we are. So the more in life, the more I know, what I've learned is the more I know I don't know. And that's, I think, like life is so full of mysteries. Like it's the coolest thing. Like it's the coolest thing is can you go ahead and like with a level four friend, can you go ahead and have a secret, a good secret, a positive, like a mystery, something that brings joy, and they might not even know, you know, like it's just fun. It's just it's fun because everything's new. This is why young children are so fun. Like being around Lincoln and being around Mikey, and don't even bring up Kaylee. My gracious. Like she's 1 years old. And it's just because they're always changing, like every day. One day they can't say a word. Next day they can put together full sentences. It's like, what? And so it just keeps you young. It just keeps and so um Elaine, what would you like to accomplish today?
I guess my main thing would just be to how do you I don't know how to even word it, but how do you stay, I guess, as a level friend and not like I feel at times you fall in and out of it, and maybe it's just because there's sub levels in the level four. I don't know, but how do you know where you're at, I guess, at all times?
And so, um, at a level four fret, like I can feel the energy of what Nora says, but I don't know the exact words. And so the energy was, I feel, Mark, that when you and I are together, that, like we're just comfortable. Like we just we don't have to impress one another. We're not worried about messing something up, anything. We're just comfortable. Like like Mark can just look like a homeless guy. Like it's fine. It's just fine. It's okay. So I think like level four, it's like a marriage. There's a song out there. Sometimes you feel like you're dancing together and in flow, and other times you don't. But do you know that no matter what, you're gonna it can change. The seasons can change and different things can change. But do you know that, do you know that you're never going to lose that level four friend? You don't, because that something can happen. But I think it's like when you're like, if you, it's almost like you cherish every moment. Like Nora, like her, like she thinks about death every day, not in a bad way. It's just an acknowledgement. She's a pilot. She's thankful every time. Well, that's the same thing with a car or a buggy. I mean, accidents happen, things happen. And so it's almost like with Mike Katura, who had, autism, significant autism. And I taught him, Mike, it's not that big a deal, buddy. And he'd be like, okay. Because he'd get all upset about stuff. And it's like, it's not that big a deal. And then he'd be like, okay, okay, okay. And settle him down. And as soon as he was settled down, I'm like, it's huge, just so Mike. He'd be like, what? So I know that had to be, and he worked with us for over 20 years. I think he came a long ways. And so I think that a lot of times in life, we make things big deals that aren't. And we make things that aren't big deals are. And so, like, there's things that Nora's like, you're never gonna let me live that down, are you? Like, no, probably not. Probably not. So she said something just this last week, or was it the week before? She said, you know, like I'm okay with sad, like emotions. Like on the way back from pickleball today, Roseanne and I were talking, and I said, how are you doing? And so we're going through some pretty rough things right now. And she's like, I'm sad. I'm like, yep, I can see that. And she says, how about you? And I said, I'm just numb. So I don't think as sad being bad. I don't think it as numb being bad. Like, I don't think inherently either of those, I don't think inherently a feeling is good or bad. I think sadness can be a really good thing. I think being numb can be a really good thing. And so, Nora seems sad. And, one of our friends and coworkers and said, Mark, I'm really concerned about Nora. I'm like, oh, she'll be fine. So, so it's like, so Nora, are you sad? She's like, no, I'm just thinking. Which is just the cutest thing in the world. It's like what something a 3-year-old would say. And then Lincoln picked it up. And so,
So everything is now, I'm thinking. Everyone's in trouble. Like, Lincoln, what are you doing? He's like, well, I was thinking. Like, sure you were.
it seemed like you were getting something out of the refrigerator. You shouldn't have. Nope, just thinking, Mom. Like,
Can't
so,
really argue with that. I mean,
right.
what are you gonna
And
say?
so, so there are certain things, that trigger Nora that cause pain for her. And so there's, I think, a tendency in friendships to not want to see your friends sad. I'm fine with Nora being sad if that's what's best for her. It's fine to be sad. Um, there are certain things that I think, like with my wife and 4 daughters, and most women I know, they don't like it, but they love it. They love it when I can get them laughing, when they're hurt, angry, sad. Like if I can get a woman laughing, she doesn't like it, but she loves it. And Nora's not there yet. The key word
Not
is
even
what?
close.
The key word is yet.
Not even
Yeah.
close.
And so she likes to laugh. So I have to be aware of that and respect that. But what if that cycle could be broken? Like, what if she's connecting dots that shouldn't be connected? She's coming up with a picture from the dots, and this is a picture that she's getting. But what if it's a different picture? Like, what if she sees a different picture in those situations?
But I think there has to be a different response to then create a different experience to overwrite the previous experience about the feelings. Does that make sense?
Right. And
So it's like
so,
if there's a feeling because of something and then the response is always the same,
right,
it probably won't change. But if the
right,
response is different, it will overwrite the whole experience and then everything will change.
right. But in life, it seems to me that life and people are very much not like that. So if I'm dependent upon other people to change their interaction with me, that doesn't work so well. So that'd be nice. That'd be easier. But does that reveal maybe I haven't been healed in that particular? I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe.
for sure. For sure it does. Because it's like if the response, I experienced this last night actually. So if the response is different than what the trigger, so if something triggers something and then the response is different, like it's like a small part of you like heals. So yeah, it's for sure you're not healed yet.
So if and so what I would do with Nora is I would go ahead and change my response. And so, but what I really want her to do is not be dependent upon me changing my response. What I want to equip her to do is I want her to where I don't change my response. She changes her perception of my response. She's in control. I'm not. So if I need to change how I'm responding to her, not that I wouldn't, I can. Like, it's going to be fascinating when that happens. Because it's like, you know, I'm not going to smile or laugh. So I've changed my response. So, so I, because what I want her to do is I want her to have control of
Well,
herself
right,
first
you
and
still
foremost.
do. You still do. Like you get to you choose. So anytime that something triggers you, you choose to allow that to happen.
See, I think for most people, that's not the case. I don't think they make a choice. I think it's reflex. It's just people don't make a choice. When a trigger happens, people just go ahead. People, their emotions, they just get sad, they just get mad, they just get angry, they just go ahead and get numb. They just they're not making a choice. Like I'm numb right now to a lot of things. A lot of things just I'm just numb. And I've chosen to be that way. I don't
Right.
have
So
to be
you
there.
so but you still make a choice because you choose to be numb
Well,
or you
I
choose to be happy or you choose to
I
be
don't think
sad.
it is. I don't think that's how it is with most people. I think most people aren't making a choice. Not, they're not. They're just numb, or they're just angry, or they're whatever.
But how is a reflex created?
Well, I think it's created because there's something there's a hurt, and then there's not healing, and so now all of a sudden it's like my mom when she went ahead and had my oldest brother, and her hip got put out, and years later she went in chiropractor. And he says, "Oh my goodness, Mrs. Moore, your hip is way like it is not even close." And he put it back in, and she's like, "Whoa!" So for I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, she had learned to get out of bed. She had learned how to sit down. She had learned how to walk. Everything changed about her to avoid the pain. So she wasn't in pain, but she didn't have the freedom of the movement. She had to and all of that was subconscious.
Right, but all of it still came down to the choice because you, like if she chose to not feel the pain.
No,
So it's like the first
no, she did. It's all
okay,
reflex.
but the first time someone hurts you, it doesn't hurt you unless you allow it to hurt you. So you choose to be hurt by it. So, and then if it happens again, and then like it's a continued choice, which then becomes a reflex.
It's interesting now because you both see behind the scenes. This is when it gets to be fun. Like when Nora gets into her double analytic, you can see her moving there. And I'm not saying she's locked. If any of you think she's locked, she's not. Just that she's not locked. And if a woman says she's not locked, it's simple. It's like God. God spoke it. It was true. Just it is what it is. And so, like my mom didn't go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and choose to not go ahead and go to a chiropractor. She just was in pain. She modified her behavior and she got out of pain. So Nora, it, it's frustrating to Nora a lot that she's got so much analytic and doesn't have just a smidge more of driver. Because if she had a smidge more of driver, you know, Elaine, your thoughts, questions?
Well, I can see it both ways. I mean, I understand where Nora thinks and I understand how you think.
Well, I
Um,
understand how Nora thinks too, totally. I mean, totally. She's right. She's a woman. Got it. I mean, I understand her. I get her. Totally get her. I understand what I do get her. I just do.
Okay, so
Okay.
did your mom choose or not choose to not go see a chiropractor?
I'm pretty sure she didn't go. Let's see. I could go ahead and go to a chiropractor and have my hip put back in space, or I could go ahead and live 6 years in pain. You know
So
what?
why not? So why not?
Why not what?
Why didn't she think that?
Right?
Why didn't
She
she
didn't
think,
know. She
like,
didn't
I'm
even
in
know.
pain, so either I'm gonna go do something about it, or if it doesn't go away, like, I'm just gonna live with it. So why
But
didn't she think that?
it did go away.
Like it, yeah, Mark's correct. It went away. Like
Right,
Because
but in the
there
beginning,
was pain for a little bit, but then it went away. So she didn't think about it.
she didn't realize her hip was out of joint. She
Mm-mm.
didn't just go like feeling her hip and go, huh, that seems out of joint. She didn't even
That's
realize it.
that's just from speaking from experience.
so when stuff like that happens, you don't think, um, like, people don't think, okay, I could go do something about this, or I could just live with it, or see if it goes away.
No, what she did is she self-healed, but it didn't heal it at the core. It just, she learned, her body went ahead and learned how to go ahead and move things, and not the best fix, you know, not the best fix. So the false hope syndrome, like now, so I don't know if this is, I don't know if this is on the internet. I don't know if this is in the internet. This was given to me by Nora, and uh, Karina went ahead and gave it to Nora. So I don't know the origin of it, but it says the cycle, fool's paradise. So I think people that are hurt, they often don't know they're hurt. So they don't have a choice because they don't even know. They just know one thing, and that's the only thing that they know. So if that's the only thing you don't have a choice because you only know one thing. Somebody like good therapy will help you to say, oh, that's so I have a choice. I can think that's what happened with me when I was 23. Like I'm trying to solve the thing on my wife being sexually abused by her dad while we're engaged. And I'm trying to figure out that's my fault. Like she's engaged. Like I can see it before we met. Like there's nothing I could do about it then. But when we're engaged, I am supposed to go ahead and protect my fiance. And I didn't. I failed. That's one way to look at it. And it's the only way I knew to look at it. Like it's the only way I knew. I couldn't. And I am dying because I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. If she doesn't tell me, well, I could have seen this, I could have reacted here. Okay, there were signs, like, but you didn't pick up. So I'm dying. And I go into a therapist and he says, you're taking ownership of something you should. Mark, and then he told me the future. He said, if you don't learn to forgive her dad and mother in law and your fiance for not telling you, if now your wife, if you don't learn to forgive that, it will destroy, it will destroy your marriage and kids and everything in the future. I'm like, well, that makes sense. And so then I asked him how, and he said, I said, I want to do that really quick. And there's a whole series of podcasts on that whole process. But I said, I want to heal quick. He said, that you can't do that. I said, I can. Boom, did it. 50% healed. Next week, other 50% healed. So I know healing multiple times. I know healing can be instant. The healing is not the hard part because it's just thinking differently. It's, oh, so he went ahead and helped me to see something different. Karina's done that to you. Oh, you mean I can think this way? Yeah. So now you have a choice. So I could think this way, or I could think this way. Now you have a choice. Before, you don't even have a choice. It's the only way you know how to think. And so getting healed is easy. Staying healed is hard because it's like, how am I supposed to go ahead and not be angry or not be hurt or not, or trust or this or this or this? How am I supposed to do that with that person or other people? How am I supposed to do that? And so, you know, there's no one that's been as deep as a friend, as fast as a friend as Nora has been to me. There's nobody. But there's been other really deep friendships. I mean, that we've spent so much time together. I mean, it's insane how much I've spent time. My kids are like, yeah, wonder how long that's going to last. And one of them lasted a year. One of them lasted a little longer. Some last 20 years, and then they're just gone. And so if I have a fear that I'm going to put all this time and all this energy into Nora and our friendship, and all one day she or somebody else is going to just make a choice and she's gone. Everything's gone. So then, like in a marriage, you're like, well, it's all a lie. Okay, well, that's one way to think of it. So for me, because I've had it happen to me so many times, those other people that are no longer in my life, I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with all of those people coming back in my life. Now, some people might not be okay with them coming back in my life, but I'm okay with it. So, so for me, I've learned how to heal. So because I can do that, I can give and trust Nora, because if it happens like the others happened, I'll be fine. I just will. So I think what a lot of times is when we don't go ahead and get healed, we're holding back. And then we have a self-fulfilling prophecy. The same thing happened. The same thing happened as happened in the past. Why? Because we've done the same thing. And so I'm going to be all in. Like, you know what? I'm going all in. Nora and I are going to have a friendship the rest of our lives. And the other level 4 friends, I'll just will. And if it doesn't, then I will go ahead and make a choice to be thankful for the time I did have with them and for the lessons I did learn and for how they impacted me, good or bad. Like John Henderson, he said you can learn more from a bad leader than a good leader. So I can learn more from a bad friend than a good friend. I can learn more from a bad spouse than a good spouse. I can learn more from a bad child than a good child. I can go ahead and, like, it's all the choices. I get to choose what I want to feel, or what I get to choose. We don't really choose, I think, how we feel. I think what we choose is what the meaning of that feeling is. And I can have this meaning or I can have this meaning. And then what am I going to do with that? And that's where I think, Karina and some of the cool stuff that she's discovered over the years. I think Nora's going to ask her if she can get some of the stuff in a document and stuff like that. So I think that, like on the false hope syndrome, like people think, well, some people can't handle that. Well, that sounds like a job for Mark. Because I think I can get anybody to handle it. It's all positioned in the right way. If people understood the 1% to the 99%, they could handle this. If it's framed in the right way. Now, you might have to go through 2, 3, 4, 20, 100 people. Like, oops, that didn't work. Like, ooh, try it again. But But if they don't understand this, they're never going to have it. When it says a fool's paradise, they're going to think they have good friendships when they don't. They're going to think they're a good person when they're not. They're going to think that they're caring or smart or righteous or whatever. They're going to think a whole bunch of things about themselves that they don't, that are not true. So they're going to be enslaved. And enslaved people hang around with other people who are enslaved with the exact same thing. And they congregate together. And man, do they hate it to be challenged. They can, it's almost like they can feel there's a threat. So, not that this would be true, but let's say there were some family members of mine, okay? Obviously, this isn't. Let's just say that there might be, let's say, hypothetically, there were family members of mine that says, my brother Mark, he's an idiot. Nobody can be good friends with him. Or my dad, he can't, he's not, he's an idiot. He's not nice. He's this, he's whatever. And so they believe that, and there's a whole bunch of people around them that believe that too, because that's what they do, is they tend to congregate together. The weaker always go ahead and come together. So if I get somebody that really is truly a friend, really does stick with me, really does go ahead, and like there is true friendship, deep friendship, lifelong lasting friendship, I'm helping that person's helping me. That person is a threat to everybody else that believes something different. A big threat. Because now they have to face, well, wait a minute. Like, I thought he was mean. I thought he was arrogant. I thought he was self-centered. I thought he was self-righteous. I thought he was an idiot. I thought he was a jerk. I thought he was all of these things. But here somebody comes along and they're not thinking that. They're thinking something else. So what it does is it forces them to go ahead and address stuff and say, maybe it's not him that's the issue. And they don't like that. I mean, Luke went ahead and said, a couple Fridays ago, he said, you're Mark. I mean, if people are taking advantage of you and you're allowing them, you're the problem. Like, that's true. And Nora said, he says, so I can change it. Just don't let people take advantage of you. And Nora said, when you stop allowing people to take advantage of you, they don't like it. And they're gonna squeal like little piglets. We could have a little piglet song. That would be, what a great idea. Like, if somebody is squealing like a little family member, or, squealing like a little piglet, here's a little piglet song for you. You're squealing like a little piglet because you want me to be miserable like you. And you know what? I'm not. And they have all these level one friends, they drink together, they smoke weed together, they go ahead and go to church together. I mean, might be all the same stuff. They're not saying. So they go ahead and do all these things together and they feel, and they're like, yeah, Dad, he doesn't have any. Well, if he doesn't have any friends, how come he's so happy? Like, he's happier with no friends than I am with all my friends because you're all miserable. You just are. You're just all miserable people. I don't know what to tell you. It sucks to be you. It sucks to be you and your friends. Like, it just does. People hate that. They just do. It was an interesting one today. Elaine, anything else you got?
No, sir, I don't think I do.
See, what I want AI. People got to put more money into AI. They're not putting enough money in. Like, I want people, like what I would want is I would want all of this condensed down into some type of a document that people could go ahead and read. or synthesize it. If you can just get people to think, huh. I mean, some of the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had, or if not the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had in my whole life, are when I went ahead and considered, Mark, what if you're wrong? Well, I'm not. What if you are? And I get myself to a mindset is, what if they're right and I'm wrong? And that is where I've seen the biggest breakthroughs. And I go there and I told my kids when they were teenagers, I said, hey, kids, um, you know, your dad's realizing something. You're right and I'm wrong. And they love that. I said, the challenge is you're right that it's your dad's fault. You're right that it's dad's fault, but you're wrong in why you think it's dad's fault. And it applies more to my children now as adults than it did when they were teenagers. Man, my kids would just listen to their dad's podcast. But eventually, 8 billion people are like, is your dad Mark Boersma? I've been listening to his podcast. That guy's brilliant. Roseanne, anything else you have?
No, I'm good.
Nora, anything you have?
No, I don't think so.
It's like, this just juices me up. I'm like, huh. So I want to condense it down, like like distilling whiskey, like 99 proof stuff. I want it to be, ask a question, like, what if I was wrong? Like, go there, take your mind there and say, what if I'm wrong? And then you try to explore that area. And you'll often find you are wrong. The people around you, though, the people around you, like, hypothetically, like, let's say a husband says the marriage failed because of the wife. He's right, but not for the reasons he thinks. Like, what if a husband, I can't imagine a husband ever saying something like, to me, this is just wrong. But I don't know. Husband, like, what if a husband went ahead and said, to his wife, you emasculate me? Like, he's right, but not for the reasons he thinks. So when we can say they're right, but it's different reasons, and we can say, oh my goodness, that gives us the ability to think in a different way. That gives us the ability to come at it from a different way. The founder of the Brown Center for Autism, she said, in behavioral science, if we respond the same way 3 times or more to somebody, we become part of the problem. So this is one of the things that people think I have mental illness, because it's like he shifts. Like, sometimes he'll use joking. Like, he tries to do nurturing, the amiable. Like, okay, does that change the behavior? If it doesn't, go analytic. If that doesn't, go expressive, be all silly or crazy or high and low. And if that doesn't, then he just smokes, smoking a hole in the ground. If that doesn't, go back and try it a different way. So, yeah, all this stuff is it's just fascinating. So if you're listening to the rebroadcast, this is where, like, I don't know if there's a vote system or something on the backstage passes. Like, the backstage passes are just cool. They just are. There's just so much back here because we're not constricted. We can talk about anything, go over if we want. We can go here and there, explore these different avenues, and who knows where we're going to end up. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.